Hey Queens. Hello.
Hi.
Welcome to episode 7.
Welcome to episode 7. We missed you guys.
It's been a while.
I'm SJ.
And I'm Allie. We're just so grateful to be here. Once again, our show is about documenting the pursuit of self-love and self-evolution through the stories of the everyday people. We bring on many people from different backgrounds, from our lives, and even just, complete strangers eventually, just to speak on how they're managing themselves through these days and like how they've gotten through this life journey to be where they're at this point. So we're just here to enlighten each other, you the audience, and whoever else can benefit from our discussions and questions.
And ultimately, just flow.
Yeah, just flow. Just flow with us.
Just flow with us.
Today we have a wonderful guest, Trippy. I'm so excited for you guys to meet him.
Yes.
Are you ready to bring him on?
Yes. Are you, Allison?
I'm so excited. So in 3, 2, 1. Hey, Trippy.
Hey.
Oh my
What's
gosh.
up, y'all? Thanks for having me.
The illustrious, the enlightened.
Peace.
We are so happy for you to be here.
Thank you. It's my pleasure. I want to thank you for having me, for inviting me. The space feels amazing here. I just want to point that out.
Yep.
And you two look beautiful.
Thank you.
Thank you.
This is about to be a high vibrational episode, so
Absolutely.
just bear with us.
Absolutely.
And just take what you can from this conversation. I wanted to touch on like how we know Trippy. So in where I live, there's a donation-based yoga studio. Should I give him a shout out?
Shout out to Baby Cobra Yoga.
Yes, giving the power, providing the power of yoga to people, decreasing that financial barrier
Right.
that usually exists. So I attend these classes, and one day I walked in and I saw Trippy leading, and I'm just like, wait, wow. I've never seen a black man yoga instructor before, and his classes, just outside of that, how he led his classes were really inspiring and rejuvenating for my spirit. And so we connected. We follow each other on Instagram because I was like amazed. Like when I was able to attend his classes, I was faithful in doing that.
Absolutely. I always commended that too. Yeah. You always showed up consistently. I'm like, oh wow, here she goes again. Like, she's here.
And it's tough.
Yeah.
But I try to keep up with you.
Yeah.
Is it hot yoga or is it regular?
No, it's just regular yoga, regular vinyasa.
A lot of core strength.
Yes.
But with the core strength, you always emphasize a lot of self-reflection, which I appreciated.
Absolutely.
Because the mind is a powerful thing, and you just showed the class and myself that what we think we can't do is all made up.
Absolutely. And even more powerful than the mind, presence is what's powerful. So as I'm leading my classes, I'm always trying to make sure I'm getting the practitioners to a space of presence. I'm always letting them know, affirm to yourself, I am. That's one of the main things I'm always saying. I am inhaling, I am exhaling. The more you say that, the more it brings you directly to the now moment. You're not attached to your body, the tension you may be feeling. You're not attached to your thoughts. You're just here and just taking in what's happening.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
See, this is
it's already the beginning. The beginning is getting deep.
Yes.
Very, very, very.
So, you see why we had to have him on this show. And
Thank you.
Off the mat, I'm just now learning about Trippy, and I'm very grateful for you to allow us to get to know you.
Yes.
And this is Sunju's first day meeting him.
Yes.
So
it's been a
it's gonna
pleasure.
be a show.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun.
Let's get it. We are ready.
Are you ready for our first question?
Absolutely. Let's do it.
So our first question is, who is Trippy?
Who is Trippy? Trippy is I am. You know, there's no real definition to explain trippy. Trippy is what you get. Trippy is what you feel. Trippy is what you see. And though your perception could be, you know, flawed at times depending on your vibration and where you are and the perspective you're looking from, you might could misread trippy, but trippy is always right in front of you. You know what I'm saying? Trippy is that rawness. Like that's
hey,
yeah.
Trippy is deep.
Yeah.
That's so trippy.
But honestly, I even got the name Trippy just off of my energy, just off of, you know, who I am, being confident, being alpha. Back in the days when I was younger, when I used to smoke, I used to be with my posse of friends. We were called the Trippies. You know what I'm
That's cute.
So cool.
Yeah, people called us the Trippies, and you know that's what we went by. But I was trippy.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? So you have the Trippies, but I'm trippy. And it's not to say I'm the boss or I'm the leader or anything like that, but my energy just stood out.
Yeah. So you don't really box yourself. You don't label yourself. You
Absolutely
just
not.
are.
I just flow.
You just
I just flow. You know?
Yes.
Yeah,
You go with the flow.
go with the flow. And I'm Cancer, so you know, I'm a water sign, so I'm really big on that. Like I stand on being a Cancer, on flowing in my life, you know.
Yeah.
I just said to someone earlier, actually to my girl, I just told her earlier, I said, when you force something, that's just a misalignment. So a lot of times through my life, I don't have many misalignments because I'm not out here forcing anything.
Yeah.
I'm exactly where I need to be when I'm supposed to be, and I'm there, you know?
Yeah, we always touch on that, like in past episodes about the times of our lives where we like force ourselves in situations.
Absolutely.
Especially in like the relationship space and how
Right.
we knew deep down it didn't elevate us. Or I wouldn't say elevate, it just didn't sit well with our soul, but we just didn't trust our intuition and we just kept moving forward. And
Right.
like ultimately these were things that, you know, really really weren't conducive to our self-development. And that's why we create this platform, because we're like building ourselves up and building that sense of trusting self, and we want other people to like wake up and realize, like, you know,
start with you,
follow spirit,
right,
versus follow what outside voices and forces are trying to like lead you to believe. And you know, really appreciate these wise words that you're telling.
Right. So like outside voices and also the internal voice as well too, because that voice is always in our own head. And sometimes it's not the same voice. Sometimes we're hearing other people in our mind.
That is so real.
You know?
That is so real.
It's just about detaching from all of that. And again, just coming back to presence. The I am, exactly. And no, 24/7 throughout the day, you're not going to be present.
Yeah.
We just wasn't set up that way. That's why we have the subconscious mind and we have the conscious mind. You know, it's just about getting yourself to a place where you can subconsciously be present more times than not.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Does that make sense? You want to be in habit of being present.
Yes. And it's definitely like a muscle you have to work on,
Absolutely.
right? Especially if that's not something you grew up doing or, you know, were told to do.
Exactly.
Like even like the general American education, they give us these textbooks and these lesson plans.
Right.
And yeah, we are grateful that we have an education, because there's people in the world who never were able to go to school. But at the same time, it kind of conditions us to like follow the leader, or follow what society is telling you. So,
Right.
you know, these are being present, working on intuition. It's something that you have to give grace to yourself more, right? Would you agree?
Right, absolutely.
Do you ever like reflect on the past and like do you ever feel like regret for not thinking like this before?
No. Okay. So okay, let me take that. Let me retract that. No, yes, it's normal to think about the past, definitely, because you have to reflect. The more you see other people as a mirror, the more you see your own mirror, yourself as a mirror, you get to reflect on where you came from. Like, that's what's important. But because I believe in divinity so much, I know divine timing is so real. I know I'm exactly where I am and where I'm supposed to be.
And the mistakes you've made before just helped you be who you are today.
Exactly. Those things had to happen to get here. So we're actually just in gratitude. Just being in gratitude, being in a space of gratitude, that's going to help you appreciate those downs and those ups. Those downs and those ups. It's always going to be downs and ups.
That's really good.
Yeah.
Thank you,
it's like a cycle.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like how the moons have cycles, waves.
Right.
Everything is like,
Right.
And back to the water sign is like, even to water, how it could be healing. But at the same time, it could be so dangerous, like tsunamis that wipe out.
That is so real.
And it's like, do we just hate water because we know that there's sharks or like predators in it or a tsunami or we could drown? Like, we still appreciate it, right? It's like, you kind of have to see life like that as well. Like, it's something that flows.
Yes.
Happens.
Yes. And what you're sharing with me reminds me of like roses too, because I feel like in certain areas, a rose bud can be beautiful, but then there's thorns. As you pick the rose,
Right.
So it's like, I feel like in a way, like the yin yang, we all have a duality.
Absolutely.
Gotta appreciate the phases that we, go through.
Right. Absolutely. And, and just like the ocean, there's different currents, depending on what part of the ocean you're in. The waves go a bit stronger and a bit deeper, depending how deep you go and things like that. So it's about also being mindful of if you're ready to even go deep, because you might not be ready, but you might have to just still go deep. You have to do it, because
it's getting so deep.
There's fear stopping you. We want to uncover all fear.
Oh my gosh,
uncover all fear.
That gave me chills. That reminds me of my senior year of college. And I feel like, not to be like cliche, but my senior year of college, I felt like I was going through a huge ego death. And I experienced like the worst depression I've ever experienced. But that was me having to untie from a lot of what I grew up on. I was always a high overachiever in school. I was like a great student. I had a lot of like book smart, but when it came to street smart, I wasn't that good in that. And I just thrived in this one area. And now when you're graduating college, you have to go in the real world and experience like real people and real situations. And how I was before was being challenged a lot. So in that, having to step into this new stage of life, I was just, and there's other things that were happening as well that I had to face internally. And okay, I lost my train of thought.
It's all good. You're reflecting. That's what it does. That's what that does. At times you looking back, you're in the moment, you start to attach to it. Again, even in yoga, when I'm teaching, like, that's what it's about. You start to attach to these thoughts that are showing up. So we're like, no, stay present with the flow. Just flow. It'll come right back. Right? Cycle.
Yeah. And I actually remember where I was going.
There we go.
Because I remember experiences like great sadness and just like detachment from family and friends and situations I was in currently. I was like, in order for me to move forward, I have to get deeper with myself, my relationship with God, and outside of what the church has presented to me, because I realized
like more than the institutionalized way of looking at things.
And it was really scary. I had to face like questions I've always had about life after death and faith, and it was just so many questions. But then I was like, I'm either gonna continue to be sad and like unproductive, or I'm just gonna have to let this whatever I'm experiencing now happen. And like lean more into it. So that really reminded me of that time in my life where I'm very grateful that it happened.
Yeah.
But it was really rough.
I was going to say it's like, for me, I can relate to what you're sharing with me. For me, it was like, for so long, my survival tactic was putting my energy in the future or putting my energy into the past. It was like yes, like the situation I was in for so long of my life path was very much like, in order for me to survive, I need to not be in the present. But then there's an unhealthy limit to that because, like you mentioned, it results into like a transformation, like a butterfly. You know, you're like, wait, when have I ever been present? When's the last time I've been in the now?
You've made a conscious decision,
exactly.
actually. Yeah.
You know, so I was just like, wait. And when I had that like reflection recently, like when was the last time that I was in the now? My really good friend, she's a musician, and she shared with me like nothing new, nothing that you are overthinking about has not been done before. She was like, like humanity, we all done all kinds of things.
Yeah.
So there's no point in not a point, but she was like, nothing new has been done under the sun or something like that.
So like, there's not. Everything is possible, right? And
exactly.
You shouldn't, because once again, we always say you're your own worst enemy.
Yes.
Absolutely.
And you can stop yourself from being great because even back to like what we were just talking about, even though you know something is not within your purpose or your alignment, you could get addicted to those emotions that it brings, like stress
it becomes
and the adrenaline. And even like wherever you're at in life in that point, you could be addicted to self-deprecation as well. So, you know, once you break that cycle and barrier, it's like, okay, anything is possible.
Anything is possible.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And you know, especially when you've been to speak about like vibrations or like frequency, when you've been raised in all your life, all your upbringing, you've been in this specific frequency of longing for this these things that are so tangible. They're so easy to get and to access. That's what you're used to, so it's like that's what you were in the habit of just doing. So that's the only how you could fall in love with like the stress. Like I remember my brother told me this girl said to him, you know what, I can't talk to you because we won't argue. Like you're too nice, and you're too something like that. Like she said you're too nice.
It's like you're used to it.
You're so used to it, and you want that toxicity. You know, as we start.
And that's
to
the love you think.
Exactly. That's not the love that you want, though. Especially as we're getting older. Especially as we're evolving. Speaking of self-evolution, you cannot evolve and yearn for that old type of love, you know, it's unhealthy.
And it's not sustainable.
Not at all.
You know, they talk about how the life expectancy has, you know, increased over the centuries, but it's like, I feel like in a way we're kind of reverting back because we're a culture of you're not doing enough if you're not busy all the time. We don't value rest. Right. We don't value, you know, spending time with family or friends or just spending time with people outside of just making money. And it's like, these are like these relationships where we think, you know, we need to be arguing or someone doesn't love you if they're not going to fight for you. Right. And it's like all of these things, they do a number on your body and your soul where it's like, you get diagnosed with stress. Right. Stress could kill you.
Absolutely.
And I just feel like that's where a lot of people are heading who are like not realizing all of these popular ways to live is really like killing us slowly. Absolutely. And before the physical body, they're killing us like spiritually as well.
Absolutely.
And I think the thing I noticed is like, I noticed that there's quality in productivity. Nowadays, everywhere you go, it's energy parasites. In a way where it's like, you really need to know yourself and you really need to practice being in the now because everywhere you go is like stimulation, you know? Like even when you open your phone, I mean, my brother recently showed me how you can turn off the color, but it's like, all those like colors is stimulating, you know? And it's just like, I think everywhere you go, we're programmed to be productive, but
or consuming something at the minimum.
You don't really need to, like you mentioned, force to be productive.
Right.
You're producing and you're an organism because you're in the present and you're aligned with the universe. So there's no thinking of I need to be productive because you existing is being productive to the universe, you know?
Exactly.
And exactly. That was a bar.
That was
definitely a bar.
something,
You know what I'm saying? That's dope. And exactly. You just said it all. You just said it all right there, you know?
That was good.
It's really important. People have to ask the question, like, you know, when's the last time I put my feet, you know, into grass and just actually just walk, you know? When
both of us went like that.
Yes, like when am I actually connecting with self? Like I wanted to say nature just now in this moment, but a lot of the times we hear the word nature and we separate ourselves from nature. No, we're nature, you know? So that's why I mean, when's the last time you've connected to yourself?
You just made me think about, because okay, like I was telling you earlier, I don't consider myself 100% woke, but I'm very self-aware.
No, you
are woke. Sorry, y'all. I'm kind of cliche and corny.
That reminds me of vegan. Like it's like woke vegan.
And I love nature. I love, for my birthday, like we did a cabin trip out in the woods in Georgia.
Fire.
And then when I meet people who are just like, oh, I hate nature, I'm just like, how could you hate nature? That's God.
Right.
But then you just reminded me, like, we are nature. Like, we have God within us as well. So everyone has different means to ground. And if the trees and grass and water doesn't connect you, there's other ways that person may be able to connect to, you know, the source. And you know, it also made me think about, like, even you as you're elevating, how it could be easy to not be humble and be kind of like, look, I mean, for me, I'm gonna speak for myself, I can be like condescending sometimes, but I keep it to myself. When I see people operating in a way, I'm just like, it doesn't have to be that way. Like, you can just like relax. Am I making sense in a way?
No, you are.
Like, everyone has like different means to connect, and just because something I do works for me doesn't mean it has to work for another person. Or like, I don't have to judge people.
Losing the ego.
It's
like when you lose the ego,
took it right out of my brain.
When they're ready to have a conversation with you, you share it, but it's not your ego to
that's
that's a dictator, you know,
to judge.
Ego is has the will. Like, it's like detaching from your ego and not letting it call the shots anymore, because you know, it's not even like, even in this moment, like what you just said, it's really about having a conversation with self. It's always going to revert back to self. Like, even if you like you just said, having a conversation with someone else, it's really actually self reverting back to the beginning of the when we was talking earlier, seeing each other as mirrors. You're a mirror. So even if I'm talking to you, I'm actually talking to myself. You know, so that's really what it's about. I'm just hearing your perspective. I'm seeing if that connects with me, is transparent in some way.
He is so trippy.
It just reverts back full circle. So,
like, it's really trippy.
Oh my gosh.
Like, I feel like we're tripping.
I'm just like, you could just talk the whole.
Like, we could talk the whole day.
You know, people tell me often, you know, you might as well go start a podcast yourself. Like, talk to people, you know. And if that calls to me, you know, I will. And that's part of the reason why I actually love leading yoga.
You're so good at it.
I give the experience that I feel like I've gotten from it.
Wow.
So I've just learned how to basically, you know, reflect that in my own way.
And like, when you are leading these classes and you see someone not doing the poses as maybe like they should be, like, do you just appreciate that they're just there?
Absolutely.
Instead of like, oh no, you have to suck in your stomach or like lift your hips higher.
Yes, right. So you have the teachers who are going to focus on adjustments and even doing the adjustments with them. And, even being in teacher training, we get taught that to adjust them so they're getting the maximum, effort of yoga, of the pose, they're feeling it. But for me, because this is such a spiritual warfare that's going on, like you just said, it's just about you just showing up anyway. That means more, that you showed up, you're trying it, you're in it, you're feeling it. And as long as you feel different than when you came, you feel more life, more involved, that's a win for me.
Wow.
That's a win for me. But again, I'm just one class. Yeah. So if they do feel like they want to go to a class where they need to get deeper in a pose, where they need to be adjusted, there's other teachers. There's a bunch of teachers. You can just go check the classes. But
it's like each teacher have a different meaning.
Yes.
You're someone that really appreciates variation.
Absolutely.
And like things come in different packages.
Absolutely.
Wow. That's really good.
Absolutely.
So intro was, wow.
That was already out of body experience.
That was trippy.
It was to the point. It's in my own way. Sometimes we get fed up.
It's so much ground to cover with this one. Like seriously, it's so much knowledge. But in the Fashioniverse show segment is called Mean to Flow, as the audience who've been tuning in since episode 1 know.
We hurt you.
And this is where we share our favorite social media posts of the week. It could be funny, sad, enlightening, whatever is like our vibe for the week. So this is our time to share that, and we like to begin with Trippy's memes, which is actually a video. So we will include that audio and everything on the screen and in our audio podcast.
Call me vegan, glegan, vegan, plant-based, mat place, champ place. I don't care what you call it, vegetarian. I don't eat animals, period.
Trippy, why did you pick this?
I'm looking at you like, why? What is the concept?
It's just like just something you want to get off of spirit, because a lot of times when people are talking to me or having a conversation or trying to learn me in some way, and then they find out that I don't eat animals, it's almost, you're a vegan, and I just feel like the terminology vegan just has this bad stigma behind it that society is putting, and it's like they think that because I'm vegan, I think I'm better than people who eat animals, and it's like, no, I don't think I'm better, but don't knock me for emphasizing or standing on my square that I don't eat animals.
Yeah, especially that really isn't like a popular. I mean, Brooklyn, yes, it's popular, but like in the rest of the country,
or Lower East Side,
and a certain demographic is popular.
So and I noticed that when I say it in that way, it tickles people or it rubs people in the wrong way. I don't eat animals. If why does that bother you that I don't eat animals? You see the way I'm saying it, instead of saying like I don't eat meat. Because you got a lot of people where I say I don't eat meat, and then they'll be like, well, do you eat seafood?
I think I get it now. You're saying the difference between meat versus animals.
Exactly. I don't eat animals. No land animals, no water animals. I'm straight to the point. I don't want you to get confused. It's not fish. I don't eat animals. Do
you tend to like have to explain yourself when you say that to people who may be like a little off put by that statement?
I have to explain it when I say I don't eat meat. That's why I stopped saying, I'm good, I don't eat meat. Yeah. Because follows the question, well, what about seafood? Or seafood is not meat. Like, I don't want to debate if seafood is not meat. I don't eat animals. So once I say I don't eat animals, there's really no other rebuttal you can really say, to me.
It takes a lot of discipline.
Yeah. It's discipline, but over time you'll see that you're not gonna miss the animals. Go ahead.
Sorry. And who you choose to be around with, is that a factor, or is like does that not bother you?
No, absolutely, it's a factor.
Okay.
Even to become vegan, I spent a lot of time around one of my female friends, And she actually played a big part, probably the biggest part in my transition into like veganism. I never really saw it from her perspective, because she never judged me for not being vegan when I wasn't. But just being around her, I would get the feeling like, damn, I feel guilty eating this meat in front of her.
There's something strange.
There's something, because it's like, well, why isn't she rocking with this? And it's like, it's kind of pretty obvious, you know. It's pretty obvious why someone probably wouldn't want to eat animals or consume.
Because that was a living thing, right? And then that every living thing experienced emotions, right?
Yes,
and it's like you
exactly.
may be taking on that,
right? So as you're evolving, you're going to be evolving in emotion, evolving in spirit, evolving in energy, where now you're compassionate. We're not compassionate just for other human beings. Like my compassion runs deep. Like
for all living.
Exactly. It's running deep for the plants as well too that we're eating, you know. But it's like at the end of the day, I know those plants, they want to be ate. Yeah. They want to be ate, because there's also I've read where if you have a farm, right, and you have, let's just say 10 acres, the space that a farm would take up for animals to live there and for you to run the farm, there would be less production, less meat production, versus if you had 10 acres of straight vegetables. The vegetables there would be more production. There would be more food.
Interesting.
Yes, there would be more access. So that's even a point right there for me, that if we're growing food, vegetables, not animals, there's more food for everyone.
Do you have some tips for people who are like interested in making that transition, or like resources, websites, profiles, influencers that they could follow
like
to
Trippy.
learn? Oh yeah, you could follow Trippy too.
Yeah. Yes. I would just basically tell people, like I always tell them, listen, don't be hard on yourself. Yeah. First of all, don't be hard on yourself, and just try to do process of elimination. That's like the easiest thing you can really do. Like, how many animals are people consuming on a day-to-day basis? You know, you have your dairy,
eggs in the morning,
your eggs in the morning, right? You have your beef, you have your
bread too. No,
bread is valid. bread is
vegan.
So you have your turkey, your beef, your dairy, your pork, your chicken, and bing, 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 your seafood. Yeah. Right? So that's
seafood is so hard.
Yeah, that's 6 different lanes people are out here consuming from.
I'm definitely people.
Just the process of elimination is what I would say. Like, it's no way all 6 of them, you love all 6 of them.
So, like, you know what it is, Trippy? Is like I know it sounds crazy, but the more you meditate and look within and just have more awareness around everything and compassion for everything, you change your lifestyle, including your intake. Because there was this like person I saw in this Korean show, and this teacher purposely chooses to walk at times without shoes. And he does this to learn himself that, like, to not forget how, like, we can be so intrusive at times as humans. Like, just even, like we're so disconnected at times of, like, our surroundings. Like, there's ants, there's butterflies, there's, like,
we don't value
deep,
you know? We don't really value. We really just, like, back to what you were saying, like, you don't just value humans, you value all living forms
all around you.
That's what's gonna broaden, and that's what's gonna get you to raise your frequency,
raise your vibration.
You know what I'm saying? That's how your vibration is gonna raise, and when it does, these are the things you're gonna notice and you're gonna pay attention to. You know, so something as little as a spider. Like me, I don't just kill a spider. Like, I'll try to catch it.
I'm so sorry. I'm still killing my spider.
Out the window. Like,
we both
I'm so sorry. I can't.
You scared of bugs?
I'm terrified of spiders. I can't. The thought of it makes my skin crawl. But no, I really hope to get to that point in life. I'm
we're like looking at, that's a cute spider.
I know that's like the last frontier for me. Like, I really, like, right now I'm in corporate America, but I'm doing my due diligence to one day have a farm in Costa Rica and live like this, like, very like low key, living off the land kind of life.
Yes.
And I know.
Do you just like how that sounds? You
But I mean,
that's another thing. Like people say that a lot because of how it sounds. Like, I guess. But it's like, I mean, that could be a goal, but plan to actually make that transition as well too. It does. The
unmanifested can become the manifested.
Exactly.
And I know it's gonna take a lot of sacrifice. I do love oxtail and fast fashion and makeup and all these things, and it makes me happy. So, but I do know, like, eventually that's something I want from my life.
Okay.
And right now it does. I do like the way it sounds. Maybe I'm still young, so I have some time to figure it out.
Absolutely.
And it's not all black and white.
Yeah,
it's a spectrum.
I wanted to ask you, Trippy, like, what inspired you to step into this wellness space? Because once again, like I said, I was just taken aback by seeing like a young black man as a yoga teacher, and then just the emphasis on how you go about leading yoga classes. So just how, your background and everything, how has that played into like where you're at now? Yeah.
So, first of all, I want to give the grace to God, to the Most High, number one, off rip. But number two, I want to shout out my guru, my first guru, person that came and introduced it to my neighborhood, Eddie Stern. If you look him up on Instagram, you can look him up. He's really powerful. He's really spiritual. I'm not saying he's like this all perfect like person or anything, but he's compassionate. His compassion runs deep, and I seen that. So he brought to my neighborhood, I was raised in low income housing, Baisley Projects, out in Jamaica, Queens.
Shout out to Queens.
Shout out to Queens. Shout out to Baisley. Shout out to Baisley La too. But,
if you know, you know.
If you know, you know. Shout out to Baisley La. But so he would come every week, and he would offer yoga to us. So now you got young black kids who go from just chilling in a park, playing tag or working out or rolling dice or playing basketball, doing whatever we're doing, to on Saturdays we got yoga mats out and we're doing yoga.
That is so beautiful.
And he's bringing us, making us feel a different zen that we've never felt, So some of us took the yoga, and it transitioned and helped elevate and enhance our life. Some of us didn't, but that was really the start. It called who it called. So, that was that. Then as I continued to get older and I'm around more vegans and people who are eating different and people who are into yoga, I'm in these spaces.
Did you seek that out on purpose, or just like kind of happened?
It was just all like a magnet. Like, we're magnets, you know. So again, the higher the frequency you are, or where you are, you will attract alike vibrations, alike frequency, and you just continue to pile on that. Continue to be true. Continue to be you. And also another thing that played a part is I feel like I've always stood out. Like, I've always been like an outcast.
I can relate to that.
I can definitely relate
with
to
my
that.
friends. I've just always been like, he's just him.
In your own world.
In my own.
Yeah.
And my friends, they never judge me for it, but you could tell that they understood and respected that he's just him.
Yeah. That's so cute.
Even though we come from the same place,
Yeah.
I always loved them for that. Never felt like I wasn't one of them, or I wasn't a part of. And if I did, that was my own inner thoughts, whatever. But the love was always the same. So
wow.
I can appreciate that.
I really want to put that. You think you'll be okay with us putting that in our description, the Eddie Stern?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
You could, Eddie Stern, at Eddie Stern, EDDIE Stern. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
So,
you can also put in the description Life Camp, because her name is Erica Ford, who runs Life Camp. She's actually the link, because everything's like a domino effect. Yeah. She was the link. She's all about building the neighborhood and starting with the kids. Community work. She's big on that. Life camp. Erica Ford. Shout out to Erica Ford. So that was the domino effect. Erica helped link Eddie to us and bring that to our hood. So she plays a big part in that too.
So what made you want to make that step into being a yoga teacher? So
just knowing that I always could, number one, just knowing that I always could, being in the yoga spaces, consistently going to yoga, consistently practicing it, loving what it was doing for my body, for my mind, for my soul. You know, once you wake up out of Shavasana, because I'm the type that I used to fall asleep in class, like literally that quick. Once we jump in Shavasana from doing all that work, all that effort, I'd literally fall asleep, like snoring, like I'm out. So I'm like, you wake up from that and it's like, wow, an hour of this can bring me this.
Yeah, such a like different kind of rest that 8 hours of sleep sometimes can't even.
It's like you think you need a nap time, but it was actually this.
It was actually this all along. Shavasana.
Wow.
Beautiful.
So I have a question for you. I have two. One
please.
is, you know, in your yoga practice every day, what would you say is like a pose that Trippy gravitates towards? And then my second question is like, do you say any affirmations or words while you're doing your practice?
So yeah, so basically a pose I appreciate the most. I'm caught in between two poses. I really, really, really enjoy Warrior 2. And I really, really enjoy Camel Pose.
Camel? I haven't heard about that one.
Yeah, so Camel Pose is basically, you know, bringing your hands behind your back, fingertips pointed towards the back.
That's Camel Pose.
Yes, and then you just pushing yourself out, pushing your chest out, bringing your head back. And, you know, if you can grab onto your heels or the floor, definitely do that. And what that is doing is expanding our breathing. It's expanding what we think we can't do. Like, that's why I love Camel so much, because people are afraid to go from their lower back. From their lower back to their heels. Like, they think they can't stretch and get it. So it's like, this is hard to breathe in. So you're taking your deep breaths and it's just opening you up in a way that just feels so sensual.
Yeah.
And sensual doesn't mean erotic. It doesn't mean anything sexual or anything like that. Sensual is just like calm. Like,
you know what's so crazy?
Yeah.
So someone shared with me that, you know, because, you know, speaking of self-compassion, I've been like really working on loving myself, things like that. Not working, but being more in tune. Yeah. And I used to do this sometimes. I don't know if it's cute.
Hug yourself.
But then someone told me, like, actually doing what you did, like, you know, going like this all the way to the back, it feels like a hug, someone giving you a hug. So I resonate with what you're saying about sensual. Like, in a way, like what you said, like, everything is you. You never needed something or someone. You have all the magic.
You don't need to buy something. You don't have to do too much. All you gotta do is
is move.
Open up that chamber.
And breathe. Most importantly, breathe. Most importantly, breathe. Like, I have to emphasize that. Like, think about our days are just running. You know, we got 24 hours in a day. All right, minus the 8 that you're sleeping. Let's just say that. But how many times throughout the day are you actually like stopping from what you're doing and you're just, you know, you just
not enough.
Exactly. and that's why we're crashing.
And we forget we breathe. We're humans. We're organisms.
You gotta think about when you're like exasperated or annoyed. You go like,
right.
Like you sigh. Like that's the only time we're always like making the emphasis with breath when we're like frustrated for the most part, right? So that's a good point. And I started like doing that more like whenever I'm getting overwhelmed, just in through my nose, out through my mouth, and
but do it even when you don't get overwhelmed. Just do it and continue to do it. You know, when me and my lady we're in a certain space, sometimes we sigh just because it's just, I'm so grateful for this space. You know, I'm in so much awe and so much gratitude for you, for this space, and for myself.
So sweet.
That is
sometimes you just take a breath.
Get you someone that values that.
Right.
Be connected right here.
Spiritual eye gaze.
Exactly. Every sigh is not that like I gotta get this miserableness, this frustration off. It's really gratitude. It's taking a breath for gratitude.
Wow.
You know what? This is gonna break the matrix because
Oh, yeah.
you know how at least like we think like you need things with your partner, you need things with your, but it's like eye gaze.
Yeah, so you don't have to spend $300 and go on, or like you don't have to go on I mean, these are things you can do, but simply like sharing that moment of like
having
gratitude. Yeah.
Quality time.
Yes.
Wow, that's beautiful.
And just think about how many people spend their quality time doing the low vibrational thing, because we can't act like drinking, for example, right?
Yeah.
We know that drinking brings the what out of you? It brings the demon out of you. It's a lower vibrational thing, you know?
Yeah.
Now, for the people at home who's watching this is going to say, oh, nah, when I drink, it doesn't make me feel low vibrational. It doesn't make me act impulsively or loud. Okay, cool. We're not talking about you then. But once you drink to a certain part, it puts you in an atmosphere and in a space that isn't attracting anymore.
Yeah.
Or at least what you are attracting is not what your conscious self actually wants.
Because it's not the whole body anymore. Because I forgot what part of the brain it impacts, but like that part of the brain is like inhibited.
The amygdala.
Yeah. So you're not. you know.
Yeah.
So how do you stay grounded? Like, because we live in a world of temptation. So and you're human.
There you go. So that's the topic right there. You know, that's the big point right there.
Yeah.
Temptation.
Yeah.
How can we not fault to temptation? Temptation is all around us. Temptation is why you feel like you can't leave oxtail alone. Because it's like if you see it, if you see it,
to bring up the
so good.
Oxtail catches strays this episode.
You know how many oxtail lovers is out there? That's a lot. That's a lot. Like y'all can start your own movement. But it's like that's it right there. Like it's because you're tempted. You don't really want it, or you know that it's not best for you. But temptation got a chokehold on
What are your tools in doing that?
Yeah.
In stopping.
What is your advice?
Yeah, because
I'll tell you. It's presence. It's got to go back. It's always gonna go back to presence. To I am. Like I told you.
It's the book that you brought here.
Power of Now. Absolutely. Power of Now. I suggest everyone, if you haven't read this book, get this book. Read this book. Magical book. You are magical. You will unlock your magic. You will, find yourself through this. You will understand yourself better through this.
I recommend as well. It's a really good book.
Absolutely. Yeah. Like I could be tempted to like talk to a female or think that I want to pursue her or something, right? But it's just a moment. You got to be so present where you can just detach from the imagination. It's literally just a moment. We might imagine something and we think we gotta go get it. If you just breathe and you just relax,
we both
it just goes right away. Like it goes away. So it's like let's stop attaching to the mind.
Wow.
And you know what
That's
it is?
beautiful.
It's just like we forget, going back to us being organism too and part of nature. You just absorb everything. And if the matrix or the system is consistently pouring certain messaging and this way of thinking that unmanifested, you start thinking that is your mind. But if you practice who you are, you have your own compass to, like you mentioned, detach from certain messages because I recently had this challenge where recently I heard these things, or I keep remembering these thoughts, and I spoke to an older friend of mine and she was like, or even my mom was like, you just have a really sensitive antenna. You just, kind of absorb a lot of things around you and it's not you.
Yeah.
You have to figure out of 1 million signals, what is your signal?
Right.
Wow.
You know?
Yes.
So I think it's it never really was a temptation. It's just that we as organism just absorb so much, but you should only digest what you want to digest.
Yeah.
Right.
That's it. And that's last night. It's okay, I'm trying to do better with like not being gluttonous, not just when it comes to food, just with anything.
Yeah.
With resting and eating too, and just doing too much, like everything in moderation. Not just certain things. And I was like, I got home from hanging out last night, and it's like 12 o'clock. And I remember I had shrimp Alfredo in the refrigerator. I'm like, oh, I should heat it up and eat it. You know, people say don't eat late. I'm like, I should heat it up and eat it.
Or don't eat out the microwave.
That part too. I know. I'm working.
We're getting trippy and trippy.
And it's like, I'm not even hungry. I just know that it's in the fridge and I want to eat it.
Absolutely.
And it's like, I'm going to eat it. I'm going to wake up in the morning and like regret that I ate a whole pasta dish at midnight.
Exactly.
And so it's like detaching, like, okay, I just had that one thought. It was like, okay, when I actually stepped back and was like, I ate 2 hours ago. I'm good, and it's late, and I need to go to bed. It's like,
so like,
kudos to you. Kudos to you.
Good.
And that's what it's gonna take. Those little humps throughout your day, moment, because that was just a moment. You conquered the moment. You know, the moment didn't conquer you, and we've got to do that over. We have to do that over and over and be in habit of conquering these moments. So we're never not in the now, right?
Yeah.
We're never not in the now.
That's good.
Conquer the now as much as you can.
I was like, usually I fail, so I was really proud of myself.
Trippy.
Hey.
Thank you so much for sharing with us so much wisdom.
It's been so enlightening.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you for having me.
So in the spirit of self-love and self-evolution, we want to ask you, what does self-care mean for you?
Self-care,
self-love, self-evolution. What are those three terms like? How do they speak to you?
They speak to me in a way where it's like, open your antennas. You know, it's like we're like a Wi-Fi system in ourselves. So self-care would be like, do the thing that you know you should do. You know, we wake up with thoughts. We know there's certain activities. There's that book we need to pick back up. There's that job assignment we got to do. We got to get in our journal. It's just about listening to your higher voice, your higher self.
Voice.
That's what self-care is about, because you know what's best for you, you know? So it's not like if my mind is saying, go have that drink. I know that drinking is not what's best for me. So maybe this voice is not the one that I need to listen to. But if I'm in a present enough space and I'm listening to myself is telling me what I need to do. So self-care is doing that. When you wake up, go wash your face. You know you should wash your face. Cold water. You know you should make your bed before you leave the house. You know you should. The shoes that are misaligned right there, if it's bothering you, go fix it.
So self-care comes from the inside out for you.
Absolutely. It's not about the external.
You're such a good teacher. Like the absolutely. Something good.
They have a master class about this.
If you follow Eckhart Tolle on Instagram, is this actually this post that keeps trending? I keep seeing that he said, you are being asked to be a teacher of presence. And I can't not resonate with that, because that's how my classes feel, and that's how the practitioners make me feel. They feel like I'm a teacher of presence, because my job or what I'm trying to do is to get you to be present, get you to be aware, self-aware. That's self-care.
That's beautiful.
Feeling your body, knowing when you've been eating too much, knowing when you might need a diet, go on a water fast. You might need to go on a water fast. You might need to go to that yoga class. You might need to just this simple things. Hit one of your relatives up and tell them, hey, how's it been? Sometimes your mind might tell you, damn, I haven't spoken to this person in so long, but I'm so busy I can't do this or that. Right?
Constant
family. Right. It's do those small things. Right. Have a social life.
Value that.
Wow,
that's beautiful.
I appreciate you guys. You know, I know we're gonna
hang
numbers. We're gonna hang out.
We're gonna tap in. I'm gonna take her to one of your yoga classes.
Please do. Baby Cobra Yoga. We got 2 locations. One in Bushwick right here, and one in Williamsburg that we just opened up. So that's dope. Also, guys, follow the Gaton Foundation. That's a foundation I'm a part of. It's a nonprofit where we are giving vegan food, vegetarian food to students inside of high schools. You know, if they sign up for it, they get it to their house. You know, for free, and we take it free of charge. Of course, there's no charge or anything. There's kids who lack food at home, and not just food, but nutritious food.
Yeah, food insecurity is very real.
We're definitely giving that. The Gaton Foundation, look that up.
We're definitely gonna put that in the bio.
Powerful cause.
It's powerful, yeah. I'm sorry that you're not gonna get the oxtail. You're not gonna get the chicken. I'm sorry, but we are giving you fruits and vegetables.
We're feeding your soul.
Something exactly. Feeding your spirit.
Feeding the spirit. Yeah. What advice would you give yourself 5 years in the future?
What advice would I give? Oh, that's a great question. What advice would I give myself? Stay present. Because, and that's always going to be it. Because even 5 years from now, 10 years from now, time is not even really real. We're on a biological clock.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's timeless.
Exactly. Yeah. Energy is everlasting. So I would still say the same thing to myself in a future moment. Listen, stay present, be present, know your surroundings, be aware, self-aware. I'm going to spit the same mantra 5 years from now, because as long as the world is changing, it's okay. I'm changing with it. I'm adapting in my own way. Yeah. I'm still in high vibes. I'm still want to feel uppity.
We love that.
Yes.
And we love that for you. And
appreciate it.
That's a gem. I'm going to take that.
Your world.
So anything else? This has been a great, honestly, we broke the entire format of the show.
Right.
Because this conversation was just so, it was just so beautiful and empowering.
You can't script this.
I really hope that someone out there is going to be inspired from what we've spoken on, especially how you're showing up in this world.
Yeah.
Coming from New York City.
Right.
And like people having certain stereotypes about the people from this place. So that's really great.
You really inspired us.
Yeah.
I appreciate that. Shout out to her too. You see I got on her t-shirt. This blue is my color. I love blue, but shout out to her. I'm just going to say that.
It's a very blue situation right here.
Giving, Jaden Smith's right here.
Jaden Smith, vegan sneakers.
He's a vegan, by the way. They're called Vision Racers. Shout out to Jaden Smith.
And anything.
Yeah.
So sorry.
No, you got
So where can the people follow you and see more of you?
So right now, you guys can just follow me on Instagram, RSVP Trippy. That's TRIPPY. No, not Trippy like Trippy Red. Trippy like Trippy. People ask that all the time. Oh, Trippy like Trippy Red? No, Trippy like Trippy. That's really it. So yeah, I'm on Instagram. That's really where you can find me at. Or you can take my number. No, I'm playing. You can't take my number.
But you'll slide the DMs. He ain't single.
I just put out a song on SoundCloud.
Okay. What's the SoundCloud? Okay, we're gonna link in the bio.
Yeah, link it in my bio. I just put out a song on SoundCloud.
We love it.
It's really high vibration.
A lot of outlets of expressions that you got going on.
Absolutely.
Multifaceted.
Yes.
Trippy, this has been great. Thank you so much. Oh my God.
Thank you for having me.
We had such a good time.
I cannot even show.
I'm still grateful. Reflecting.
I
know. Yeah.
Thank you for tuning in.
Yes, thank you. Thank you for watching. I wish you could feel the space here. You probably feel it through the video, but if you was here, whew.
Once again, follow Just Flow with Ali and SJ on Instagram.
Shout out to Just Flow.
Just Flow with AS on Instagram. That's our username on TikTok as well, and on YouTube. Just Flow with Ali and SJ. Make sure to subscribe, comment, and like. And we're also available on Apple Podcasts and Spotify for audio version of this. So you can take that on the go. And all those profiles and details and resources, even the power of now, will be included in our bio. Thank you again for tuning in. Stay blessed.
Thank you so much.
Peace,
Bye.
peace.